Hello everybody, thank you for tuning in to the third season race of the MSCA Quaker State Late Model Series. I know it's a bit late that this race would usually be getting out, but I've had a lot of stuff going on, and so I've just been trying to get things done outside of YouTube and things like that, and so I have enough time now to bring you back the MSCA Quaker State Late Model Series. So coming in, heat number 1 for the third race here at Cedarburg. Eric Heiden's going to start on the inside row 1. Outside of him will be the 2 car of Cody Smart. Jack Porkins at GRT. In second, in the third spot in row 2, Bob Chelsky on his outside. Row 3, Kyle Collins in the 83 and Sam Rogers in the 53. Row 4, Matthew Brown in the 4 car in the 21E of Patrick Curtis. Patrick Curtis running coming off of a pretty good finish in the first race. Jake Rogers and Tanya Brayer. Tanya Brayer coming off of a win, all going to be in the 5th row. Chris Dodd and his teammate and team driver, the 31 of Nick Pericles, are going to make up row 6. Row 7 is going to be TJ Hanley. He's been struggling a bit. And Henrietta Fitzwater also struggling a bit in row 7. And rounding out your field, the 76 of Ferdinand Gabat. That is going to be your lineup for heat number 1. So let's get this heat race underway. As we can see, 62V of Eric Heiden's going to lead him down. Green flag is out. And into turn 1 they go. Pretty even coming out. Jack Porkins following behind the 62V as the inside lane gets a little bit of a better run. And you can obviously see this is a little bit different racing from what we've seen the first 2 races. Everything's sort of in a pack kind of deal. And I think it's just the way this track is made. There's a bit of a difference in the corners. They kind of make the track not as slick as some of the other tracks. They try to make it as kind of give it more grip than the other tracks. As you can see, Jack Porkins though trying to take that inside spot away from the 62V of Eric Heiden. Porkins on the inside, Heiden on the outside. Porkins at his quarter panel, but then he comes right back into turn 3. They're going to be side by side coming down to the line this time. Jack Porkins, a little bit of a disadvantage entering into turn 1, but they're going to be side by side again coming out of turn 2. And here we go, a good race going on for the lead right now, as Porkins is going to be able to, however, take the lead away coming down and around turn 4 and down to the front stretch. Looking back, 5th place, currently contested by 3 drivers. Chris Dodd, however, is going to come out on top of that one. Cody Smart and Matthew Brown, however, are trying to get into the feature event, and that's going to be a little bit tough for them. However, Jack Porkins really needs to do something good for his own right. Jake Rogers needs to do something for his own right, as his team has been struggling. Kyle Collins currently holding that 5th spot behind Jake Rogers, and that's a spot that you really need to keep conservatively covered, as now the 83 is under attack from the 6 car of Matthew Brown. You can see behind Matthew Brown though, the 76 of Ferdinand Gabat somehow has made it past half of the field, and is currently looks like he's just on a mission right now as the 6 car gets under the 98. However, that's your top 5, as Ferdinand Gabat is currently outside the top 5 in 6th position. But that could possibly change, as Jake Rogers is going to lose the bottom side going into turn 2. And Ferdinand Gabat taking the bottom line away from Jake Rogers before he can even blink. White flag is waving, 1 lap to go. Chris Dodd taking the lead from Jack Porkins. And Ferdinand Gabat looks like he's going to take over that spot. He's going to also get by Eric Heiden in the 62V car, who's now under threat from the 43 car. And it looks like this race is going to come down to the line, and Heiden will take the win, or take the 5th spot. And that's going to be your transfers. Chris Dodd, Porkins, Matthew Brown, Ferdinand Gabat, and Eric Heiden will all transfer to the feature event from their heat race. Heat number 2. Here's your starting lineup. On the row 1 inside, Dejan Leaks with the pole position. Outside row 1, your points leader, Roy Bruce, in the 808 car. Daniel Maxwell in second and third, and Callum Wood in fourth in row 2. Zachary Fitzwater and Gabriel Wanderley will make up row number 3. Brock McMahon and Kyle Maxwell will make up row number 4. Alex Tanker in the 50 car. He's done a pretty good job of keeping consistent, and he's going to start in row 5 with Lucas Tran, your race 1 winner. Row 6 is going to be the 24Y of Mike Serra and the 80 of JT Hanley. Row 7 is going to be the 604 of Eric Willis, and on his outside, a struggling number 25 of Carson Scott. And finally, rounding out your field on that 8th row in 15th will be Joshua Jones. That is your Heat 2 lineup. So let's get this second heat race underway. Dejon Weeks leading him around. Pace car pulls off to the infield, and green flag is out. We are underway here at Cedarburg for heat number 2. Dejon Weeks pulls out to a really good lead at the very beginning of this race. Daniel Maxwell has a hard time keeping up with him, and he almost allowed Roy Bruce to get to the bottom side. Looks like Zachary Fitzwater is going to try and make it 3 wide going into turn number 1 with Callum Wood and Kyle Maxwell, or Daniel Maxwell. Those two names are fairly similar, but he's going to be able to take over second from the 12 car and the 808 car. A nice run by him, as now he's going for the lead. Zachary Fitzwater really has something to prove to himself, as we see Brock McMahon trying to take over that transfer from Callum Wood. Wood in the 224 car, having a lot of issues. Didn't have a very bad first race, as he finished, I believe, in the top 5, but now he's just been struggling the rest of the year. And right again, the 50 car of Alex Tanker, we said he was very consistent in that 50 car, and he's been very consistent in that 50 car. As you can see, he's going to pull into that 5th spot in that number 50 Rocket chassis. And it seems like the Rocket chassis have really been a good choice for these drivers, as the 50 car of Alex Tanker being able to hold now the bottom line as he's getting past the 12 of Daniel Maxwell. Kyle Maxwell is a lot farther back in the field, so he's really got to kick something up. Eric Willis now going under the 808 car of Roy Bruce to try and transfer another spot. As you can see, there is also a battle for the lead between the G5 and the 59 of Zachary Fitzwater. Alex Tanker taking that 3rd spot away from Dejon Weeks. 4th and 5th. 5th is actually being contested between Daniel Maxwell and the 604 of Eric Willis. Eric Willis trying to get that car into another feature event. He had a decent feature last race, and he's hoping to get something out of this feature event and really kind of improve on where he's been at. So far, he's in 4th and fighting to try and take, actually he's in 5th trying to take 4th from Dejon Weeks. Dejon Weeks now falls back to 5th. As you can see, the 5 car of Joshua Jones taking that inside line away from Weeks. Weeks and Jones are fighting off for that 5th position. Dejon Weeks has been really fighting that car, trying to get it down to the bottom side. Joshua Jones is going to be in the 5th spot, coming down to the line that lap. And it looks like Dejon Weeks is going to fall out of position. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to get back to the 5 car, as that is going to be your feature lineup. Brock McMahon with the Heat win, and Eric Willis going to take home the 5th spot. Brock McMahon, Alex Tanker, Zachary Fitzwater, Joshua Jones, and Eric Willis will be your driver transfers. And now, going to the last chance showdown. Top 10 drivers get into the race. Dejon Weeks is going to start on the pole. TJ Hanley is going to start on his outside. Sam Rogers and Kyle Maxwell are going to be starting in row 2. Gabriel Wanderley and Bob Shopke is going to be starting in row 3. Row 4 is going to be Carson Scott and Henrietta Fitzwater. Both drivers really need something good here from this LCS to get themselves into the feature. Roy Bruce, a surprise to see in the LCS, as this is the first time he hasn't transferred from his heat race, and Callum Wood going to make up row 5. Tanya Breyer and Mike Serra going to make up row 6. JT Hanley in the 80 and Kyle Collins in the 83 are going to make up row 7. Cody Smart and Jake Rogers. Jake Rogers, we already mentioned, needs to get something going. Gonna be starting in row 8. Race 1 winner Lucas Tran gonna be side by side in row 9 with Daniel Maxwell. And finally, in that last row is going to be the 31 of Nick Pericles and the 21E of Patrick Curtis. That is going to be your last chance showdown lineup. These drivers really need to get something going here to be able to make it into the feature. So let's get this race underway. Dejan Weeks leads him down for the second time tonight. That's the second time he's been on the pole position. He's really been doing good on the draws. Having to fight a little bit more to take the lead from the initial start, but TJ Hanley's eventually going to fall coming out of turn 3 and 4. Now TJ Hanley's really going to have to get his car down to the bottom, but Sam Rogers is going to close the door. TJ Hanley going to open it back up, but it's going to immediately close again as they enter into turns 3 and 4. Dejan Weeks currently holds the lead, and second is being contested between TJ Hanley and Sam Rogers. Going back here, we can see Roy Bruce. He won the first race. Tanya Breyer won the second race. And then here's Henrietta Fitzwater in the 43 car trying to make it in. The 31 of Nick Pericles is trying to make it in as well to get this team a bit rolling. Chris Dodd seems to be the only driver that is really doing well on that team. And I believe Bob Shopke is also trying to make it in. He's not been doing very well for DW Motorsports. The other two drivers at DW have really been doing well. One with a win, and Dejan Weeks been able to consistently make the features. And so far, we just really haven't seen anything from the 334 car. We don't know what is currently up with that car, but the 31 of Nick Pericles is currently holding that 10th position. He's trying to get past Kyle Maxwell, but behind him he's also got Lucas Tran in the 4 car. Tran with a dominating first victory, and he's going to try and maybe bring something back to DW Motorsports with that initial first win. Looking at the field now, the DW Motorsports number 4 car currently holds the lead. Cody Smart directly behind him as Dejan Weeks continues a commanding lead here in the last chance showdown. Cody Smart trying to take over that 10th spot. This is really where you want to hold your ground on the bottom side, because if you don't, you're really going to be in trouble, as Cody Smart really has not been able to get by. However, the line on the bottom continues to move past these drivers. Cody Smart is considered your 10th place driver now as TJ Hanley continues to fall, and that is just not looking good for him. He blew a motor in the last race, and it's just not looking good for that 08 car. Looking back again, it looks like the 12 car, the 12A, that is the 12 car, is I believe your 10th place driver, either your 10th or your 9th place driver. And 9th could also be, or 10th could also be the 31 of Nick Pericles. I am not completely sure at this time. As you can see, they're still fighting over it. Sam Rogers considered the 10th place driver, but now Patrick Curtis is going to take over that spot, coming from the back of the field in the last row. He's going to take over 10th, and he's going to be continuing down that line. But drivers really cannot catch up to Dejan Weeks. However, Tanya Breyer has taken over second and has actually caught Dejan Weeks, as you can see up at the front. As you can also see, this battle is continuing to rage for the transfer spot. No one has really held the transfer spot for very long. It's just the nature of the way this racetrack has been laid out, and no one really has an edge on who can take over the transfer spot, unless you can just take over the bottom position from the other driver. And you can see Jake Rogers in the 98 continuing, and currently the 83 car Kyle Collins is trying to get up to get into the feature event. I believe he made the last feature, and is just trying to salvage whatever he can, as he is not doing all that well. He's doing okay, but he's not doing the best in his 83 car at the moment. And it's just not been a season start like he would have hoped it would be. But he's really hoping to try and kick-start something here in this last chance showdown to get something here. But I see the 24Y has been lurking the last few laps behind the 83 car. You can see him going under the 12 of Daniel Maxwell. And Cody Smart currently holding that 10th position. He's really trying to keep that 10th spot open for him and close for everyone behind him. But you can see Mike Serra now has pulled himself forward and is going to take that bottom side from the 2 car of Cody Smart. Mike Serra has got the transfer spot under attack as Cody Smart will fall to Mike Serra, and now Mike Serra is going to work on the 83 of Kyle Collins and push him back. You can also see Daniel Maxwell is going to try and follow the 24 car, but he doesn't successfully get to be able to do that until I believe he's going to try it again. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to get there, but Cody Smart is currently 11th. White flag lap in the air, and now Daniel Maxwell will take that spot on the inside. But Daniel Maxwell is also not done yet. He's going to look to the inside of Kyle Collins, who holds the 10th spot. It's going to be a race down to the line, and it will be Maxwell who will take the spot on the last corner. That was a great race finish. Dejon Weeks being able to dominate that. Patrick Curtis in 2nd. Jake Rogers in 3rd. Roy Bruce 4th. Lucas Tran 5th. Tanya Breyer 6th. JT Hanley 7th. Mike Serra, after coming up from the field, is going to finish 8th. Gabriel Wanderley 9th. And Daniel Maxwell, in the last few seconds of the race, will take over the 10th spot, transfer to the feature. 11th will be Kyle Collins. A heartbreak for that 83 car. 12th will be Cody Smart. 13th is going to be Nick Pericles. CJ Racing is not going to be having more than just Chris Dodd in there. Henrietta Fitzwater, a disappointing 14th. Kyle Maxwell, 15th. TJ Hanley finishing in 16th, a disappointing finish there. Callum Wood going to finish 17th. Carson Scott continuing his drop in the point standings, finishing 18th. 19th is Sam Rogers. And finally, 20th is Bob Shoki, having a difficult time trying to get that car into a feature event and even finish well in the LCS when he does get a second chance at it. However, that's going to be the wrap-up of your heats and your last chance showdown. I am Jeremy McDude of the MSCA. Thank you for joining us, and I'll see you guys next time.